Good evening and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville's regular council meeting for September 10th, 2019. It is approximately 7:02 p.m. If we'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call, please. Here.
Mrs. Gatos.
Here.
Mr. Poach.
Here.
Mr. Harvey.
Here.
Mr. Johns.
Here.
Mr. Arcinko.
Here.
Mr. Duncan. Mr. Wilson. Mr. Little.
Here.
Mr. Ratcher.
Here.
Ms. Rock. Mr. Hugus.
Here.
Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start our public comment on proposed agenda items only. This time period, it is an opportunity for you to to speak about agenda items. We always ask for a 5-minute time limit. I will kindly ask council to allow the residents to get their full comments out before interrupting them or answer any questions. If there are questions that are asked, if we're able to answer them readily, we will. But keep in mind that this is really just a comment period. It's not really a question and answer and debate period. It's a comment period. But if you do have questions, and if we're able to answer them, we will. But once again, these are only this section is only for agenda items for this evening. You will have another opportunity at the end of this same meeting to speak about any municipal item with the same ground rules as far as the 5-minute time limit, etc. So if there's anyone that is signed in and would like to address council on the agenda items, now would be your time. If there's anyone that would like to address council or make a comment about any of the agenda items, now would be the time. You just sign in, please, and state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Beck. I was just here to follow up on a couple of questions for things that were presented on Thursday. A question was asked, and I don't know if I have a clear answer in my head, about, in terms of the pool information, why it was that the municipality of Monroeville was not considering offering the property on the other side of the turnpike that's owned by the municipality. We understand that would create a straighter stretch for the turnpike, and that was one question. The other is, we've learned by looking at what was not a deed, but I guess the property was condemned, and it is specifically said in that document that piece of property that the pool sits on is for recreational use. And so we're wondering how it is that the municipality is even allowed to offer that property for sale. And I would like to stay here to hear the answers within my 5 minutes rather than being asked to sit as I was on Thursday.
This is a comment. This section is a comment period on the proposed agenda items. The agenda item is to advertise for the ordinance. So if you have a comment about the advertisement or the advertising of the ordinance, now would be your time to make comments on the advertising of the ordinance, whether you think we should do that, not do that, or if you have other suggestions regarding the advertisement.
Okay, so let me reframe what I said then in that context. That's what you're asking me to do. I'm wondering why council members are putting this forth as an advertisement when it seems to me at least obvious over the past number of months that many citizens have come forward with various concerns and asked that it not be even put on the agenda, advertised until there were plans in place rather than doing that retrospectively. So I'm looking for answers to those questions. Why would council want to even be advertising this piece of property when there are other options that have not, in our citizens' view, been fully explored. Does that fit into the agenda item?
Well, you have to keep in mind, even if there is.
Because it could be tabled, it could be pulled off
Exactly.
the agenda. Okay, and that's
Right.
what I'm looking towards.
Well, it could be pulled off the table, or it could be, or I'm sorry, it could be tabled, or it could be pulled off the agenda, the ordinance that is, once the ordinance is actually on the agenda. Right now, the ordinance is not on the agenda.
And can that happen tonight?
No. What council's considering this evening is to place an advertisement to advertise for next month's meeting, for it to be on the agenda.
So that advertisement of an ordinance can't be pulled off tonight, is what you're saying?
Council could, that's an option
Okay,
for
that's
council,
an
they
option.
could.
So
yeah.
I would ask that you would consider pulling this off the agenda for tonight based on the things that I mentioned before.
Understood, very
Okay.
good, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
If any, yes, sir.
if I can, I don't want to step out of line. That's motion number 4 on the agenda that I'm looking at. Can I make a motion that we get to whatever we're going to do with this? Can I do that, or can I not? Just to get this thing one way or the other, where it's going.
You have to get through the comment period.
Yeah, let's hold that thought. We can move it up in a moment, but let's see if there's anyone else that
That's
would like to
fine.
comment.
I'm just trying to.
Yeah, if anyone else would like to
Whoever.
comment on, for one thing, on any agenda item, or I'm sorry, on any agenda item, if anyone is here to comment on that, now would be your time.
Julio Estremera, Alpine Village. And I just wanted to say that I would recommend the council table it until all the options have been explored. I know that last week it was mentioned that an email would go out to the Bel Air members of the pool, some type of survey, even until that's complete, until everything's done with that committee in terms of exploring other options. I would recommend the council just table and not even motion to advertise for that to be on the agenda for the next meeting of the sale. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address council on any agenda item?
Brian Susko, Turnpike Gardens. And to keep it brief, to your point, Councilman Jones, just to kind of get to the point here. Really, the idea and the agenda item was pulled off of the agenda previously in order to figure out a plan and actually figure out what we were going to do. The questions were around how we're going to spend the money and what the plan was for either private pools or replacement options and things like that. So without having, without you guys having the chance to speak, whether that plan is in place or not, I think is the overall kind of feeling here, where if it's being advertised to be put back on the agenda, I guess the assumption was that plan would be kind of put in place at this point. So we're really just looking forward to hearing that plan. Some of the items may already be in place. For example, on the proposed budget, at least the last time that it was discussed, the capital improvement fund, $1 million went from $1 million to $1.9 million, which in my assumption kind of adds up to $900,000 coming in from the pool. So it seems like the idea of where the money is going to be spent is there. So really, I think what we're kind of looking for is if it's being put back on the agenda for the other reasons that we took it off. If there is a plan, hopefully we can have that plan before it's actually advertised to be put back on the plan, to be put back on the agenda. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address council on any agenda item? Seeing none, we're going to close that portion of the meeting. And we have a presentation by the Volunteer Fire Department chiefs regarding the number 5 pumper. So gentlemen, if you could just sign in, please, that'd be great. And then
We did when we came in, just in case.
All right. No problem. So state your name for the record, please.
If you don't know me, my name's Ben Rudd. I'm the fire chief at Monroeville number 5. Ron's old station, well, Ron's station, the one he used to be the chief of.
Old Ron.
I'm Michael Coleman. I'm one of the captains at number 5.
We just wanted to take this opportunity, one, to thank you guys for your continued support, council, manager, mayor, even the solicitor, all you guys. We could not do what we do without your support that you regularly give us, so we appreciate it. Tonight, I basically just come asking for your approval to purchase a new pumper for number 5. We spent months going over every inch of our specification that we've made. We made many cuts, but we also think that we spec the best possible pumper for all of our residents, visitors, businesses, all of Monroeville. So, as you can see on your sheets, we've gotten approval from the Monroeville Fire Chiefs Committee that it meets municipal spec, and also the bid sheet as well. I just came basically to see if anybody has any questions, and again, ask for your support in that approval of that purchase.
Just for council's edification, under the fire agreement, this pumper for number 5 is our share of $600,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Council, any other comments?
Just, Chief, is number 5 putting money into this?
Yes, so we are actually putting a portion of our own money into this. We also, something else I forgot to mention, we chose the dealer, Advantech, through Emergency One. We've had tremendous success with them for well over 20 years, and they are on the CoStars program.
So according to this, number 5 is putting 81,000 on top of that.
Correct. So you guys are, we have to try and meet the spec of $600,000, which is what the previous fire agreement states. We found it incredibly difficult to spec something relatively simple for $600,000. So we ended up putting 81,000 of our own money into it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions?
No, I think you guys did a really great job, very thorough,
Thank you.
and the information you supplied to us made it way easier for us to approve this. So
Good.
thank
I'm
you.
glad. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and as Mr. Little mentioned, this is in the fire agreement, and this actually goes back to our fire agreement from July 14th of 2015. And this is the agreement that we've had, and I think it's a good one for the municipality.
Mr. Little, this is the last vehicle on this agreement, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
In
I'm
fact, this
2020.
agree- Yeah,
I'm
correct.
pretty sure the next time we'll be in front of you is for a new agreement. So we're already working on it.
Any other questions or comments, Council?
No, sir.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much,
Thanks,
everyone.
You know what, and thank you guys for all you do,
Thank you.
all of you.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
We have an executive session announcement that council conducted an executive session for personnel and litigation reasons prior to tonight's council meeting beginning at 6:30 PM until 7 PM. Council, legislative action, if any, shall be taken at tonight's September 10th, 2019 council meeting. Council, we have the minutes in front of you for Citizens Night meeting of August 8th, 2019, the council work session of August 8th, 2019, and the regular council meeting of August 13th, 2019. Is there a motion to approve
So
those
moved.
minutes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions, council?
No.
Motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Your tax collections, council, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any other comments?
It's too long, yeah.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, your list of bills and budget transfers, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any other comments or questions, council? Roll call, please.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. And the payroll report, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
And these items were reviewed at the work session, the agenda-setting meeting, and the ayes have it on that payroll report. Council, your vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities. It is the blue section of your packet. Mrs. Gatos, do you have anything this evening?
I do not, thank you.
Mr. Poach?
I do not, sir.
Mr. Harvey?
Nothing.
Mr. Johns?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Arasinko?
Nothing.
Very good. Council, we're moving to our consent agenda. We have old business, 14-8-ST, Imami Organization of Pittsburgh. Mr. Little.
Amaya, there is a letter in front of council that they are a request to table their application 19-3 ST on Old Haymaker Road. So this will be tabled. I assume all of the requirements under the.
I'm going to make a motion that we deny it.
I'd second that.
There is a motion and a second to deny it. Any questions or comments, council?
Are we denying the tabling?
Or do we take the table and then act?
No, that's just a,
There's no motion to table. The motion is to deny the application.
Oh, okay.
Is that correct, Mr.
That's
Jones?
correct.
And was there a second? That's correct?
Yes, Mr. Harvey.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Harvey.
That was a second for that reason, yes, and I wanted to ask Mr. Hugus, did they ever hear from them? Last meeting, you said you were waiting
This
to
is
hear.
what-
Correct, there's a letter in front of you, Ron.
That's
from
the
that
only thing
organization.
you've gotten?
Yes.
Okay, my second stands.
Just for you folks out there, this has been going on for a very long time. This isn't something that's new, and it's time to be dealt with. It really is.
And let the record show that the applicant is not present this evening. So there is a motion to deny and a second to deny. So voting in the affirmative is denying this application. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The application is denied. Mr. Little,
okay.
new business.
19-1 ST, number 1 Cochran. Applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct a Cadillac showroom addition to the existing GMC Buick building and associated site amenities on property zone C2 Business Commercial. The property is located at 4520 William Penn Highway and known as tax parcel 997-J-380. The Planning Commission recommends approval for this application.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay, number 2 is 19-4 SUB, Roger Brown. Applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval of tax parcel 859G16. Applicant proposes to consolidate lots 25 and 27 into one lot labeled 27R and then subdivide parcel 1 from a newly created lot of 27R. Parcel 1 is a non-conforming, non-buildable lot intended only to be deeded to the adjoining property owner of tax parcel 859G64. Property is located at 300 Coleman Drive in the R2 one-family residential zoning district. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little.
Okay, 19-2 STAHN Forbes. Applicants requesting site plan approval to renovate and construct an addition to the lobby of the existing hospital and install associated site amenities on property zone C2 Business Commercial. Property is located at 2570 Haymaker Road. Planning Commission recommends approval of this application.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to
Want me to
approve.
second or-
Is there a second?
I'll be second.
That's okay.
We have a motion,
Warden.
reluctant second.
Like, okay, I'll
So there's a motion and a
I'll be
second to
second.
approve. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
The ayes have it. Moving over to our motions, council, we have 5 motions this evening. Mr. Little.
Okay, number 1 is a motion to authorize to advertise an ordinance for a multi-stop sign intersection on Horizon Drive at Bryan Court. This is in Haymaker Village, or Haymaker Point, excuse me.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay, is a motion to authorize to advertise an ordinance establishing a handicap parking only zone on Shady Ridge Drive in front of 370 Shady Ridge Drive.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little.
Okay, number 3, a motion to authorize to advertise an ordinance for an easement onto Alpine Village Drive.
This is the gentleman that is going to have the private drive coming up from Mavor's.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Now, comments?
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Mr. Harvey.
This is the gentleman that needs the private drive coming up from Mavor's Creek, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
His bridge got washed out in the last flood, and we're providing access to his property. So there is a motion, a second to approve. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay, number 4, a motion to authorize to advertise an ordinance to enter into an agreement to sell 10.42 acres of municipal property known as the Bel Air Swimming Pool to Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission for the purpose of widening the Pennsylvania Turnpike in Monroeville.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There is a motion to approve and a second. Any comments, council?
Question, yes,
Go ahead.
yes, sir, too. So we always have the opportunity to act on this again. This is to get it back.
just to advertise.
Just advertise it and then begin to process it, correct?
Correct.
We can always remove it if necessary.
Absolutely.
Makes sense?
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any other comments, council? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little.
Okay, last one is I've asked council to table this, motion to table this, because I'm not done with the lease yet on this. I'll have it next month. It's good. They're current lease, the Turtle Creek Valley COG, who leases office space here in the municipality. Their lease is up, their 10-year lease, and it's good until the end of the year.
Motion to table.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table. Roll call, please.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving over to our resolutions, we have 4 resolutions this evening. Mr. Little, please.
Okay, a resolution under Act 205 of 1984, known as the Municipal Pension Plan Funding Standard Recovery Act, authorizing the 2020 minimum municipal obligation, otherwise known as the MMO, for the police and non-uniform pension plans, and that's in the pink copies, and it's approximately $1.3 million for the non-uniform and $2.3 million for the police. So that's so the public knows of what we put into the pensions.
Motion to approve.
Our employees.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Is there any are there any comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay, second resolution is a resolution authorizing the proper municipal officials to enter into a winter traffic services agreement for 5 years with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation during the winter seasons of 2019 to 2024, and council wanted to see a comparison of the current agreement with this one with respect to mileage and cost. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the cost has actually gone down. That's, council has that in front of them.
Motion approved.
Second.
Well, all right, we won't look.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments or questions?
I just,
Go ahead, Mr. Harvey.
is it the same streets that we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same roads
No,
in
it's
the previous
county
agreements.
Yes.
Yes. Any other comments or questions, council? We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little.
Okay, a resolution of intention to adopt the active transportation plan. There are copies on the front seat, and it's on our website if anybody has any questions about it. You can call me or the mayor or anybody else in Park and Recreation or Engineering.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments? And once again, there was a lot of work put into this. This was out of our joint comprehensive plan with Wilkins and Churchill. And then an active transportation committee was established. They did a tremendous job, and I support an approval of this. So there is a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay, last resolution is a resolution adopting the UPMC East Emergency Department Addition Sewage Planning Module.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Arcinico? Aye. Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Abstain?
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. And that's all for the resolutions. Moving over to our reports of municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, anything this evening?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Little, you're up.
Okay, the senior center new hours from Labor Day to Memorial Day will be for the fitness room, expanded hours 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m., and the main office hours are 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, and next month, the 2020 budget will be presented to council, and there will be, as required under the Home Rule Charter, there are 2 public hearings, and one of those will be in the latter part of October and one in the beginning of November. So everybody will have a opportunity to comment on the 2020 budget. Also, the Monroeville Foundation Golf Outing is this Friday at Meadowwink, and ECSNR is conducting their hazardous and electronic waste collection Saturday, October the 5th at the Public Works Building from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's advantageous to go onto the municipality's website and register to do that. And that concludes anything I have to say.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Mr. Little.
Okay.
Mr. Hugus,
I'm good, Mayor.
all right. Council, we're going to move over, and ladies and gentlemen that are here, we're going to move back over to our public comment on any municipal item. If anyone would like to address council on any municipal item, now would be your time to do it. As always, we ask for a 5-minute time limit to get your point across.
I don't need to sign in again, correct?
No.
All right.
Just state your name again.
So
please.
Julio Estremera, and just want to talk about the, the motion to advertise. But I do have a question with regards to the motion to renew the Turtle Creek Valley Council of Government lease. Was that to advertise as well, that motion? Or it's just a motion to,
It's just a motion for council to approve it. That's
so you know that you're going to renew that lease, you just need to actually draw up the lease?
Well, no, it's just some changes to the lease to make it a little bit less cumbersome.
But it'll be renewed.
Sure, yeah.
So
I don't see
So I'm
any-
trying to draw a little bit of a correlation between that and the pool, I mean, everyone voted aye to advertise, but still no discussion or, presentation of an actual plan that occurred before everyone voted aye. When we kind of, a few of us voiced our opinion about, maybe tabling it until that plan comes to fruition. And I know it's still in the works, and the committee's still working on it. And I'm trying to draw a little bit of a correlation there. I don't know if you can see it, but, the lease for that property is there. It's going to be drawn up, it's going to be renewed. Perhaps the sale of the pool is going to go through. But the plan, isn't documented just yet, hasn't been presented. So I'm just kind of expressing my disappointment with that not being presented prior to everyone voting aye for that ordinance to be advertised. We'd like to, I think that the members of Bel Air Community Pool would hope to see that plan prior to that taking place. That's it. Thanks.
Anyone else like to address council?
Wait a minute, she gets up. I can't handle this woman.
Alyssa Beck, Sustainable Monroeville. I wanted to thank council and the webmaster and the manager and the mayor for putting on the website of Monroeville some suggestions about how to kind of improve your own property to absorb water. And my hope is that would be expanded so that citizens can take self-responsibility for their own properties to help absorb more water. And with that, I would I had asked Mr. Little on Thursday, but I don't think he had a chance to answer, if there's something in the budget, or will be put in the budget, about putting a sustainability coordinator in the budget for the municipality of Monroeville, so that there can be broad suggestions for how to kind of go above and beyond what the MS4 is proposing for our community. The other thing I wanted, I don't know, Mr. Little, did you put, by any chance, did you put that in the budget?
Well, come to the budget meetings and you'll find out.
The budget has not been presented yet. It's not complete.
Have you explored that as an option? Because I had asked you about that last
I've
year.
explored it, yeah.
But you don't want to answer
Well,
that?
the budget hasn't been presented to council yet.
Okay, so there might be some good surprises in there,
I can't guarantee anything.
but you've looked into it?
I've looked into it.
Okay. At the budget meeting, would you discuss maybe that looking into?
Sure.
Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to mention to council at large and all the employees and other people that help around the community, any community members, any religious institution or spiritual people, which I hope we all are, we're spearheading, Sustainable Monroeville is spearheading a Reimagine Turtle Creek Watershed and Airshed Communities campaign. And we're having an initial planning meeting, and then it's going to be open to all of the communities in the Turtle Creek Watershed, which includes about 18 communities, and I can't list them all off, but just think of them as all the communities that surround us, including some into Westmoreland County, like Penn Township and Trafford and Murraysville, and then kind of all the way in towards Braddock and everything in between. And so I'm real excited about that. It's kind of a necessary positive step from my view, based on some of the other stuff that I'm real concerned about that I come to present to council. So when we do the initial meeting, gathering, it will be people from all over the place, and I hope that all, or some of you at least, come and attend. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address council on any municipal item? Seeing none, we're going to close that portion of the meeting. We'll move over to our reports of our council members. Mrs. Gatos, would you like to start?
I've said enough tonight. Thank you very much.
Mr. Poach.
No, just our committee still continuing forward, and with the rest of the process that's in place, and you'll see some more information coming to you, hoping within the week, to you. Nothing else, then, sir?
Thank you. Mr. Harvey.
The two gentlemen that were here tonight, and there are many more out there that serve the public as far as police, fire, EMS, and provide public protection. Remember that tomorrow is 9/11, and they will be honoring it. I hope you don't forget them and forget what happened.
Thank you. Mr. Johns.
I have nothing to say, thank you.
Mr. Arasinko.
Here with Mr. Harvey. Please remember 9/11 and our first responders. Some maybe positive news. The radar for Pennsylvania, it looks like it's getting a little bit more acceptance at our state level. It's still not out of committee, but there's been a lot of pressure. PSAB, which is our for the state, is having their meeting in October. I'll have a more extensive report, not on just radar, but several other items. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I am finished.
Thank you, Mr. Arasinko.
Yeah.
One announcement for an upcoming event. There is a free document shredding event that our state representative, Brandon Markozik, is sponsoring. Joe, if you have that flyer. It is Saturday, September 21st, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. No flyer, it's okay. I'll just read it off here.
There you go.
There we go. All right, great. Thank you, Joe.
It was a little slow.
No problem. That is Saturday, September 21st, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The location is at 4232 Northern Pike, which is outside of Representative Markozik's office here in Monroeville. That is across from the Gateway Grill. So it's a free document shredding event sponsored by our Representative Markozik. So come on out. Thank you so much. Thanks, Joe. And we had an event today in our community. We had a ribbon cutting for Bechtel Plant Machinery and Elmhurst Group. They cut the ribbon on their new expansion of their property in the Tequan Industrial Park. They have been in our community since 2007, and with this addition, they're one of our largest employers in Monroeville. We had a lot of representatives from the state, from the federal government, from the county. It was a very big event and very, very good event for Monroeville. It's a very positive thing. Admiral Caldwell from the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Program, he runs it out of Washington, D.C. He was in attendance, and he spoke very highly of Monroeville, and it was a very positive thing for our community. And actually, when we talk about this fire truck here today, the pumper, and also September 11th, one of the things that was brought up to me during that event today was that Monroeville has the infrastructure in place for these type of things, for a business like that to grow. There was really no question for them to build this addition onto their building because we have the proper police, fire, and EMS coverage and the infrastructure ready for them. So that made it a pretty easy decision for them. So, tip of the hat to BPMI and Elmhurst Group for doing business in our community and being good neighbors, and we look forward to them growing right here in our community. And as my colleagues up here mentioned, please remember the first responders and those that were lost on September 11th and those that were impacted and continue to be impacted. And with that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you and good night.